Controversy concerning the San Jose State University women's volleyball team. 3 opposing colleges have now forfeited their matches against the Spartans over concerns about a transgender player.
It's 2024, and yet gender inclusion in sports remains to be a controversial issue. This time, San Jose State University's women's volleyball team's Blaire Fleming is the object of everyone's criticism. With all the headlines about women's volleyball, you are probably well aware of the issues surrounding it. San Jose State University, which has 6'1" Blaire Fleming on its team roster, is at the center of it all. Fleming transferred to San Jose State after playing in South Carolina, but before a bill was passed in that state that would have banned Fleming's participation. What remains unclear is whether or not San Jose State even knew Fleming was transgender when the transfer occurred. If they did, it appeared as if no one on the team was told, although it soon became apparent. With the net in women's volleyball 7 inches lower than that for men's teams, Fleming was able to dominate play to the extent that the San Jose State team went undefeated. One of Fleming's teammates, Brooke Slusser, noted, "Fleming's spikes were traveling upward of 80 miles per hour, which was faster than she had ever seen a woman hit a volleyball. The girls were doing everything they could to dodge Fleming's spikes, but still could not fully protect themselves." To be fair, these fears are not unjustified. In 2023, a female volleyball player was seriously injured when a male player who identifies as a woman spiked the ball into her face. It only proved that male hitting power is about twice that of females. Anyhow, once word got out about the truth of Blaire Fleming's gender, the schools playing San Jose State had a choice. They could either play in risky and unfair matches or forfeit. Each forfeit would be recorded as a loss. A non-conference school, Southern Utah, was the first to brave the penalty and stand up for fairness and safety in NCAA women's volleyball. They were followed in succession by 3 schools in the conference: Boise State, Wyoming, and Utah State. All accepted the penalty as the price worth paying to make this stand. Boise State announced the forfeiture of the match with San Jose State on the school's athletics website, without offering a specific reason. Boise State volleyball will not play its scheduled match at San Jose State, read the statement. Per Mountain West Conference policy, the conference will record the match as a forfeit and a loss for Boise State. Riley Gaines, a critic of trans athletes in women's sports, who has connections to both Independent Counsel on Women's Sports, or ICONS, and American sports and political commentary website Outkick, issued her own statement to the Fox-owned website. "I commend Boise State's athletic department and everyone involved in the decision to forfeit their match against undefeated San Jose State," Gaines wrote. "Some principles transcend winning on the court, and the safety and well-being of female athletes is one of them." The American former competitive swimmer and political activist added that it is encouraging to witness a growing number of institutions prioritizing fairness and athlete safety over forced inclusion. "I hope to see more universities follow the lead of Boise State and Southern Utah, standing up for what's right and protecting the integrity of women's sports," she further stated. Gaines stopped short of citing any specific safety concerns. As mentioned, the University of Wyoming women's volleyball team became the 3rd in the nation to forfeit a game to San Jose State this season. Wyoming joined Boise State and Southern Utah, all of which did not give a specific reason for the forfeit. After a lengthy discussion, the University of Wyoming will not play its scheduled conference match against San Jose State University, the volleyball program said in a statement. Per Mountain West Conference policy, the conference will record the match as a forfeit and a loss for Wyoming. Idaho Governor Brad Little also joined the conversation, posting to X that he applauded Boise State's decision. "We need to ensure player safety for all of our female athletes and continue the fight for fairness in women's sports," said Governor Little. Despite this, the San Jose State women's volleyball team picked up its 4th victory by forfeit in early October, 3 weeks before the match was scheduled to be played. Utah State joined Boise State, Southern Utah, and Wyoming in canceling the matches, even though the Aggies aren't scheduled to visit San Jose State until a week or so at least. Notably though, the Spartans hadn't just been winning. Colorado State recently played host to San Jose State and won in straight sets, handing the Spartans their first loss of the season. It was an up-and-down night for Fleming, who recorded a match-high 14 kills. However, Fleming also recorded 10 errors. Fleming's kill percentage was just 9.5%, but Fleming was set up for the kill 42 times, by far the most out of anyone in the match. The loss marked the first for San Jose State this season. Here's what you should know about this issue. The San Jose State women's volleyball team has become the target of attacks from conservative media amid a lawsuit over a player's gender. The lawsuit, filed in the U.S. District Court in Atlanta, challenges the NCAA's Title IX protections regarding transgender athletes in women's sports. You should know that the NCAA first adopted a policy governing transgender athlete participation in 2010, providing a pathway to participation for transgender women and men in accordance with their gender identities. It revised that policy on January 19, 2022, to a sport-specific approach. The NCAA currently requires transgender women wanting to compete in women's sports to submit documentation, including testosterone levels, to the NCAA Committee on Competitive Safeguards and Medical Aspects of Sports. The committee's medical panel decides eligibility. College sports are the premier stage for women's sports in America, and the NCAA will continue to promote Title IX, make unprecedented investments in women's sports, and ensure fair competition for all student athletes in all NCAA championships, the NCAA said in a statement. To better understand, Title IX of the Education Amendments Act of 1972 is a federal law that states, "No person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance." Know that athletics programs are considered educational programs and activities. In late September, Brooke Slusser joined more than a dozen female athletes in suing the NCAA for Title IX violations. The starting setter and co-captain of SJSU women's volleyball team is a current teammate of Blaire Fleming, a trans-identifying male whose sex was hidden by the school for nearly 2 years. The class action lawsuit, originally filed in March and funded by the Icons, states that the NCAA has knowingly violated Title IX by allowing transgender athletes to compete against women and to use women's locker rooms in collegiate sports. San Jose State University declined to address the gender identity of any of its players. "We are operating our program under the regulations of both the NCAA and the Mountain West Conference," read a statement provided to dailymail.com. "Our student athletes are in full compliance with NCAA rules and regulations. We will not address the gender identity of any student, as they are protected under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act." San Jose State's women's volleyball coach admits it has been very tough to manage the team of late amid controversy surrounding transgender player Blaire Fleming. According to SJSU women's volleyball head coach Todd Kress,
the student athletes in particular received a lot of hate mail, DMs, voicemail. Some of it, to be honest, is disgusting.
Nevertheless,
we have an incredible group of young women that put the controversy, or attempting to put the controversy aside.
Here's a peek at what's happening to other athletes today.